Today's top 15 tech stories. Subscribe and hit the bell for daily tech updates. Thorsten Alteholz, my Debian activities in May 2026. Thorsten Alteholz worked on Debian LTS/ELTS activities in May 2026, handling security updates for xim4 and rsync, and managing bug fixes for libcope 3, CVBI, taglib, and libuev across different Debian releases. The month involved challenges with embargoed CVEs affecting scheduling and coordination, including a regression and an rsync update when stable requiring ongoing investigation. You can make HTTP requests without curl using bash/dev/tcp. Bash can make HTTP requests without curl or wget by using /dev/tcp to open a TCP socket and manually writing HTTP requests with printf. This method allows containers or services to communicate over internal networks even when common tools are unavailable. Multiple Linux distros hit by major CIFSwitch flaw that gives attackers root access. Security researcher Simvaladi Aglumanazada disclosed CIFSwitch, a nearly 20-year-old Linux privilege escalation flaw affecting major distributions like Mint, CentOS Stream 9, Rocky Linux 9, Alma Linux 9, Kali Linux, and SLES 15 SB7, which can grant attackers root access under certain conditions. Mitigation involves applying updates, disabling unnecessary file sharing components, and restricting exploitable features. Emanuel Kasper, running Linux i386 binary stinkd via debootstrap foreign root. Emanuel Kasper successfully runs the Linux i386 Steam CMD binary on an ARM64 system by setting up a Debian i386 root environment using debootstrap and qemu-user, allowing him to download game data for Doom 3 BFG. This method bypasses compatibility issues and provides a reusable solution for running 32-bit applications on 64-bit ARM architecture. I ditched Chromecast for an open-source casting tool, and my home network finally felt mine again. A user abandoned Chromecast after Google removed the cast button from Chrome's toolbar and required re-authentication, opting instead for Piclicast, an open-source alternative that works better with self-hosted networks. Chromecast's reliance on Google's authentication and relay servers makes it incompatible with privacy-focused, self-hosted setups. Ubuntu dominates servers, but one choice killed it on the desktop. Ubuntu's dominance in server environments contrasts sharply with its decline on desktop systems, largely due to Canonical's controversial decision to prioritize Snap packages over traditional apt installations. While Snap's sandboxed, self-contained approach works well for servers and services, it has alienated desktop users who prefer the flexibility and performance of apt or alternatives like Flatpak. I moved my self-hosted apps from a Raspberry Pi to an N100 mini PC, and I should have done it sooner. A tech enthusiast moved their self-hosted applications from a Raspberry Pi to an N100 mini PC for better performance and efficiency, noting that the N100 outclasses the Raspberry Pi in power and versatility for home lab tasks. Despite the Pi's popularity, its limitations in processing power and memory make it less suitable compared to modern x86 alternatives like the N100 for running multiple containers and FOSS tools. Bootamus, a self-contained PXE and HTTP boot server. Bootamus is a self-contained PXE and HTTP boot server written in Go, featuring automatic kernel extraction for 50 distributions, MAC-based access control, one-click deployment of system tools, and REST API support, all packaged as a single binary, with no runtime dependencies. It supports multi-architecture deployment via Docker, static binary, or appliance image. New Linux Petit COW exploit enables root access by poisoning cached binaries. A Linux kernel flaw named Petit COW CVE 2026-46331 allows unprivileged users to gain root access by exploiting an out-of-bounds write in the traffic control subsystem's packet editing function, enabling attackers to poison cached setuid binaries in memory. The vulnerability requires actpedit to be loadable and unprivileged user namespaces to be enabled, conditions found on default RHEL and Debian installations. Vasudev Kamath, releasing debvulns. CLI for listing Debian vulnerabilities. Vasudev Kamath has released debvulns, a new CLI tool that provides direct command line access to Debian vulnerability data with modern output formats like JSON and CSV, addressing limitations in Debian's native debsec utility and reducing context window overhead compared to persistent MCP servers. My Google Pixel replaced my laptop for home lab management. and I stopped carrying a computer entirely. A Google Pixel smartphone has replaced traditional computers for managing a home lab setup, enabling remote SSH access and server management through apps like Tailscale without requiring a laptop. The user leverages Android's flexibility and mature SSH clients to monitor Docker containers, virtual machines, and other infrastructure while on the go. The internet that we grew up with hasn't been demolished. It's just hidden beneath engineerified commercial layers, put there by companies seeking to extract more and more from you. And people are digging it out cool. The article argues that the original internet has been obscured by commercial layers designed to extract user data, but people are working to uncover and restore its original form. Security updates for Thursday. No security updates were reported for Thursday. I ditched my Debian VDEM for immutable Lightwhale OS, and Docker containers have never been simpler. Lightwhale OS is an immutable, Docker-focused Linux distribution that boots from a 200 MB ISO and runs entirely in RAM, simplifying container management with no package manager or system configuration needed. Its immutable design ensures system stability by separating container data and configuration onto a persistent storage volume, eliminating the need for updates or patches. 29-year-old Squid proxy bug Squidbleed can leak cleartext HTTP requests. A 29-year-old heap overread bug in the Squid web proxy, dubbed Squidbleed CVE 2026-47729, can expose cleartext HTTP requests including credentials and session tokens to other users on the same proxy network. The vulnerability stems from a 1997 FTP parsing flaw and affects Squid's default configuration, allowing attackers with proxy access to read traffic sent to FTP servers they control. Thanks for watching. Like and comment below. See you in the next update.